Thank you, thank you. Um, okay, let me just see if it works. Okay, perfect. So, hello everyone. My name is Dmytro Symovonyk, and today I would like to present the new horror game about a lighthouse keeper called Flashing Dark. Presentation made by me. So, about me and my team a little bit. So, I'm part of the Flat Surface Studio team. We are 3 indie game developers, and we've been making computer games for almost 4 years. As you can see, we have already published 2 horror games. This one, Objective Haste, our first game, and then Nevermind This, we released last year. And also one shooter game called Utter Takedown, the top-down shooter. And today we're gonna talk about our new horror game. Who would think on that? Flashing Dark. So a little bit backstory. The Flashing Dark was inspired by 3 things. First of all, Fears the Phantom, a very popular series of horror computer games, which has been very popular recently. Then another horror game, No One Lives Under the Lighthouse. And last but not least, the movie The Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe. So, the backstory of the game itself, the idea, and what's the story about. The story is about an ordinary man who got his new position as a lighthouse keeper, and that's basically it. He works alone on a separated island where he is just by himself, so no one lives except for him. And as he works, he uncovers the dark secrets of the lighthouse. Next thing, the key features of the game. Firstly, I would like to talk a little bit about the atmosphere. So, as I said before, the lighthouse keeper, he lives on a separated island alone, or it's just what we want you to think. But, as you can see, there are also some NPCs. And there might be a question, how can there be NPCs and interaction with them if you're living alone? Well, that's the thing. You maybe not live alone on the island, but I won't tell you that. But there are going to be some other NPCs and some other islands. So there's not only one island, but also another island, and you can freely go there by boat and talk to other NPCs. And also, in the introduction of the game, when you come to the first island, you're going by train, and there are a couple of guys, as this one, Angry Man, so you can interact with them as well. So the dialogue system, and there are also some other interactions like package receiving and so on. Also we have the first person view, the basic thing, and the last one, key feature, is the lighthouse keeper gameplay. But I would like to go a little bit back to the NPCs. So this is the screenshot with the boat, so you can ride it from one island to another one. And also the cashier at the post. You can also have some dialogues with her and receive and order some packages with food or other items. However, the next thing, you can either communicate with the NPCs by the face-to-face, as people say, or the option we added using the radio transmitter. So the online thing. The thing is about the game, a little bit about the gameplay more. As a lighthouse keeper, you're gonna receive various codes and asking for the confirmation from the captains of different ships. And what will you need to do is you'll need to answer them and of course coordinate the ships. This is the UI, how it looks like. And now a little bit about the daily tasks of the lighthouse keeper, how the thing is being managed, and so on. So as a lighthouse keeper and the game about the lighthouse keeper, what we wanted is to make the player dive into the gameplay. So you do some daily routines, you do exploring a little bit, because there is a world to explore, the island itself, and it might hide some secrets. And we thought when the player is deeply immersed into the gameplay, when it feels how to be The lighthouse keeper, with daily reports, interaction with different ships, and with some other NPCs, the player might actually dive into the gameplay fully. And then, where the screamers come up. Because it's a horror game, of course, not only about the lighthouse keeper. So, to begin with the daily reports, so as your task per day, you will need to do different things, such as fill the generator, check the temperature, pressure, wind speed, and also you can buy some things in the local shop. And this is the variety of tools that you're going to be using. So here you can see the thermometer and barometer, a little bit weirdly looking, but still. Anemometer, compass, and of course a rifle. The thing with rifle, I think there is already an uprising question from the Daron. If you're going to keep the rifle, yes, you can use it and keep it in your lighthouse. Because in our previous game, never mind this, as soon as Screamer comes up, your guns are being taken away. But here, as long as you're in the lighthouse, you can freely take it, shoot from it. Currently it has unlimited ammo, so don't hesitate to do it. But as soon as you leave the lighthouse or something happens, I wouldn't say that, you might not have the rifle by yourself. Next thing, coordinating the ships. As I stated already, you will need to help the captains of the ships to coordinate them. So this is a little game mechanic. Here you're going to have the radar application where you choose the ship you want to track, and then you either approve or disapprove the request. And also the traveling on boat. I already showed the screenshot with the boat traveling, but this from another view. Here the player goes back to the first island to get the package, and so on. Now, finally, I would like to present you with our trailer.
The other screen.
Oh, the full screen?
You need to move it over to the other screen.
Okay.
And then full screen it.
Steam page is already online and updated with all the screenshots and the trailer, of course. So if you want, I'll give you the QR code later. Wishlist the game. So now the most interesting part. Okay, should I also more? Okay, now questions and answers, if you have any. please.
Did you guys do the voice acting, or did you hire somebody to do that?
So the current thing is that in the demo version, currently we did our own voice acting. I don't like it, to be honest, so probably we'll hire someone. But yeah, currently we did our own voice acting. Please.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's your position in this? Like you said, there's 3 of you, so how's like the division of the work?
The division is the 2 of us, we write the code, and the other one, he's the responsible for the 3D models, so he does the level design and so on. Sometimes, well, mainly I write scripts, but I also do something like cutscene making and a little bit about the location and the writing of the dialogues.
And sorry, just add on.
Sure.
Are the other 2 people also in Lens, or like?
No, they're not.
Okay.
You want to meet them?
No, I'm just curious. Like, yeah.
Okay, please.
But what did you learn with Nevermind this that you did differently with this game?
That we don't need to use high definition render pipeline. That's probably the main thing. Even though we struggle a little bit with the optimization, because, for example, the forest, it still takes a lot of power from the GPU and CPU, but still the universal render pipeline that we're using right now, it gives some FPS boost.
And on the non-technical side, let's say content, gameplay,
We
game
tried.
design.
Yeah, we tried to make the game a little bit not super scripted, because Nevermind this, every action is scripted and you need to do whatever we tell you. And here we wanted to make a little bit of free will for the player. So, I mean,
Rails.
Hmm?
More of Rails.
yeah, so you still need to do like your daily tasks and so on, but you can do them whenever you want before the night comes. You can also travel whenever you want. Of course, there are some scripted parts, but still, it's a little bit more free. Yeah. Please.
Do you have some form of financing, like Kickstarter, or from the cash flow of the other games, or do you do it all by yourself?
No, we don't have financing currently, so we're just doing with what we have and what we got from our previous game.
What time period would you say it's set in? Because it looked like 2000s or 1990s, but did you follow that through the entire thing, or was that just the OS and the?
The 2000s, yeah, you're right. So the OS system, then a little bit of of location, sometimes how people talk, but not that much. The dressing, the items, how they look. We try to stick with the 2000s.
Wanted to ask about story writing. Who is responsible for that, and how do you come up with this setting and the game progression?
So about the story is being written by all 3 of us. So we think together and we try to make something that is in between of our minds. But yeah, the mainly story is written by ourselves. I just forgot what was the second part of the question.
Game progression.
The game progression. You mean if we do it by ourselves?
No, you have some kind of idea how the game will go on, what is the goal, and so on, and how you do move through the game, not physically but story-wise.
Yeah, of course. So the full story of the game from beginning to end is already written. Of course, we won't show everything through the demo version of the game, but in the full version, yeah, we hope that we're gonna make it. So it's already written. Of course, sometimes we make a little bit of the changes, but there is a goal in the story and the backstory of the current game. So there is some mystery to find out. Okay, please.
Is there a path to like just happily do your daily tasks and like kind of avoid the whole horror storyline, or does it pull you, drag you in at some point somewhere?
It's a hard question, but of course it drags you because this is a horror game. People buy horror games to get scared of it. But I mean, at some point you can avoid some things, but not all of them. And at some point you will need to finish your daily tasks and proceed to the next day. Yeah, good.
What happens if you die? Is it like hardcore or just restart from the start of the day?
It just restarts currently. Maybe in the future we're gonna add some more logical explanation, but currently it just restarts.
Like from the very start?
No, from the day.
Okay. And what happens if you don't do those tasks, like the...
We had some ideas on what to do, how to punish player, like take his money away, something like fees, but we haven't decided on this idea yet. And of course, with dying, I want to say that there are not many days or scenes where you can die actually. But if you can, it's gonna just restart at the beginning of the day.
I mean, bananas are $100, you die pretty fast.
Yeah, that's my question. Can you die by starving?
By starving?
Yeah.
Right now, no.
Does it have fall damage?
Full damage.
Can you jump off the lighthouse?
That's an interesting question, but I would say he has the boots from the Portal 1 and he can just avoid fall damage. Currently, of course.
And do you plan on release or
Yep.
What does the development timeline look like? How long do you plan to develop the game?
So we've started developing this game, I think at the end of the February. And right now, there's going to be a Steam Next Fest in October, and we plan to release there our demo version. But publicly, demo version is gonna go, I think, next week or week after it. It's gonna be published on both itch.io and Steam. So if you want to follow us and our progress, gonna go here. You can scan the QR code and check our social media, and of course, wishlist our game. You also have?
It was my question, when do you plan on releasing the game? So
Mhm.
the first step is the demo, it's Steam.
Yeah, but to be honest, we plan to release the game at the end of this year, so at the end of Q4.
What do you think will be the game time? How long will be one playthrough?
So currently the demo, when you don't know anything about the game, the demo playtime is around 50 minutes, 1 hour. But I think we're gonna extend it minimum twice. But to be honest, it all depends on the Steam Next Fest, how our demo version is gonna show. Because if it's not gonna show really good, maybe we won't add that much content as we wanted to. Any other questions?
So you would release it under 2 hours of content? Because sometimes people refund games, right, on Steam.
Yeah, I know about this thing.
Yeah.
With our previous game, we tried to do this. So to stick in 2 hours of gameplay, so there is no option to refund, but unfortunately we didn't. And we got 1 hour of pure gameplay for our second horror game. But to be honest, there weren't much of returns.
Oh,
So
okay.
people actually keep it.
That's good.
Yeah, but with this game, we plan to have 2 hours.
What do you plan on the release price?
The release price, so that's a very interesting question. Haven't decided yet, but I think around 7-10 euros, depending on the region, of course, but something around it. Well, I can't say right now on my own without my teammates, but that's how I see it. Any other? Oh, please.
About refunds, do you have like an anti-refunding like the licenses? When other games, do you use that system of licensing? Because some games don't, and the people refund them and they can still play the game through the files.
Mm,
Yeah, they can.
okay, I didn't know about it.
You should try tape this API of Steam that gives you the license. So like when they refund it and try launching in the files, they you can't run it. Yeah.
Okay, that's a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people might copy the game itself. That's actually the thing about the pirating of the games. On our first game, we added that you can play the horror game, the single player game, only if you're online and Steam checks you, and then Steam checks if it's in your library. But we didn't really like the idea, and on Nevermind this, we didn't do that because maybe some people want to play the game offline. But yeah, this thing that you told, that's an interesting one. Okay. Any other questions? Okay then, thank you.